Yeah, so I'm starting to become a veteran photographer because I've been I've been doing this now 16 years. So it's been quite a journey, I guess. I got inspired to do photography actually on my honeymoon. I was with my wife in Costa Rica, and it was just a beautiful biodiversity, amazing people, great food. And I was just, I kind of became a big tourist, right? Just taking photos had a little point and shoot camera, and I noticed there was a little M on there for manual, and I started playing with all these fractions, all these things. I had no clue about any of this stuff, but I started getting pictures that kind of, the beautiful sunset, the clouds, I started to play around and really started seeing some really interesting results. But I kind of knew that something was kind of happening, and this is becoming a big part of my life somehow. And I really like the creative aspect that photography provided. So I think one of my biggest challenges was that transitional period from hobbyist part-time to full-time. And I would say it was about a 2-year transition. It was probably the hardest time of my life, in a sense, when, I really had 9 to 5 was my full-time job. I had an hour to eat dinner, and then 6 to midnight was photography. It was either I was out photographing concerts at the time, editing, doing weddings, whatever. Everything was kind of happening all at once. So my social life didn't exist. I was kind of miserable because I was too stressed. I was trying to still contain my environmental consultant job, and at the same time I was trying to make something out of this and not have enough time to put into it, right? Because if your time is taken away with a full-time job, it's hard to put all the time to this other thing, right? We're lucky that we have, the ability to choose what kind of photographer we want to be, right? We can be that documentary only, fly on the wall photographer who doesn't really interact with clients, to just document as things happen, right? We have the very opposite, where we're documenting or directing the entire thing. I try to be somewhere in between, and that's kind of what I enjoy. I do enjoy kind of directing people, but I don't want to take away from real moments and stuff. But I guess if I had to pick a technique or I think off-camera lighting is something that really interested me in play, and I think it kept things interesting, and it allowed me to find my style and help me stand out. Something as simple as, not taking a payment when you're booking and then someone cancels 3 times on you and you've turned away other work. It's a big lesson to learn there, that kind of stuff. How to work with people. I mean, photography is so much about working with people. Obviously, if you're a nature photographer, yeah, maybe not. But at the end of the day, if you want to make a living, someone has to buy that, because you have to get money in return. So I guess you have to deal with people at some point, whether it's an art dealer, whether it's a magazine publication that you're selling your images to, or whatever. But for me, it's always been, mostly wedding photography or portraits or headshots and things like that. So dealing with people was huge. I was taking my career a little bit more seriously, and the gear just wasn't holding up. It was breaking a lot. It wasn't working when I needed it to work. Eventually, instead of buying another camera or another lens, I spent I would almost say almost $3,000 on a light. But I've always known Profoto. Annie Leibovitz uses Profoto. Albert Watson uses Profoto. Those are like the heroes of our lifetime in terms of photography. And I'm like, if they use Profoto, I think that they might be good, right? The equipment must be good. And so I ended up spending my own money. I got that B1 at the time and some modifiers. It was about $3,000. And I was set. It works beautifully. It's what Profoto did for me as a brand was give me the confidence, right? A lot of us are, I think, we're our own worst enemy in a sense with in terms of confidence, right? Now, not talking about being cocky, talking about just confidence, right, in what you're doing. Because now, once I had a light that worked, I can go to a photo shoot and I know that light's going to fire every time. I know, and I can, and already my demeanor, my vibe is different. So I think that's kind of how it changed my approach. The gear, the pro photo gear, really helped me build that confidence going into shoots, and yeah, that was the biggest thing. In terms of pro photo specifically, and again, that was my journey, right? I had gear that kind of worked, kind of didn't. It was frustrating. Eventually, I just said I can't do this anymore. I need gear that works, and I bought a Profoto light. But in terms of Profoto specifically, there are two types of lights that I would recommend. If I was to pick one light and one and only light, it would be the B10X. Okay, that's 250 watt seconds. This light can do basically everything outside. It can do everything inside. The way that you have the battery has the connector for the power, you can use it inside and keep it plugged in. So you're able to do studio work. You can also take it outside and use the battery, and it will, in sunny days and cloudy days, it works just about everywhere. So that would be my number one thing. Additionally, it does have an LED light, right? So you have LED light that can shift color as well. So if you're doing video interview like this, you can put a light on and have a light and a modifier, which is great because you can use the same modifiers for your photography as you can for videography or for constant lights. So I think that's the best of both worlds there. And that's for in studio and outdoor off-camera flash. The other one is the A10, which would be the on-camera and off-camera flash, okay? That would be my other option. If you're an event photographer where you're doing a lot of events, red carpet, corporate events, people just, doing awards or a banquet, you're gonna need an on-camera flash that will do that. It will also go off camera as well. So if you have a remote, if you need it off camera, you can use it off camera. So it has the best of both worlds there. What photography has allowed me to do is travel, which I enjoy a lot. Travel is tough, but I was able to go to a place I never thought I'd go to, which was Thailand, to photograph a wedding, which was really cool. And that was a big highlight for me. The clients flew me out there for the week. They're extremely most humble people. They're amazing people. I had an amazing time. We photographed the wedding, and then next 2 days later we rented a car and we went to different parts of the beach and temples and things like that, do some fun little shoots. So that was a big highlight for me. I think so. It was very, very memorable because it's not something I thought about ever really doing, and photography allowed me to kind of explore a little bit, which I'm very grateful for. And ever since this kind of came into our world not too long ago, where we're seeing Lightroom implemented, Photoshop, there's other software for retouching now that do an actually really good job. Not perfect, but it does save a lot of time. I do use some of those tools for my business to retouch, to cull, to do all these different things, and it does help with time. What I've always been saying, and I still stay true to this, is that AI won't replace that human connection. The fact that you can go get your headshots done by uploading your cell phone photos to a website, it will generate some kind of, give you 50 different options of you looking in a business suit, and it may resemble you, and it's only going to get better. So at some point it's going to be, sure, it will resemble you 100%. So it has to be that connection, that human connection. I think that's what's going to set you apart as a photographer. And again, we're all talented in our ways, and some have different skill level, but yeah, I think that's the number one thing. Photography is an interesting career. If it's not a career for you, enjoy the hobby. Get better at the hobby, enjoy it. If it's a job, learn the business, find your worth, that kind of thing. Make sure you're charging enough for your craft, and respecting yourself, as in this interesting career that we've chosen. So, yeah.